Hi, friends. I'm Scott Giles, and welcome to Power Talk, my podcast here on Facebook Live and YouTube. I cover topics related to spirituality, hypno-coaching, and the hypnotic arts and sciences generally. If you'd like to know more about my work, check out my website, which I'll tag at the end of this video. Now, today I want to talk about having fun, and not just fun as a method of relaxation. I want to talk about it as a way of being happy and productive. Now, I was inspired to think about this topic by an article by Kelly Main that appeared in INC magazine in October of 2021. He writes about Elon Musk of Tesla, Boring Company, and SpaceX, suspected by many of being the richest person in the world, the father of 7 children, and someone who's completely reinvented automobiles and intends to create human habitation on Mars and may actually succeed in doing that. The writer notes that Musk works 120 hours a week on average. And the reflection is, how does he pull that off? How can he work that much without it killing him? Now, Mr. Musk was born and raised in South Africa, bullied throughout childhood. He was once thrown down a flight of stairs by a gang of students in his high school that left him hospitalized. So he's overcome a great deal to get to where he is, and he recently revealed that he's actually on the autism spectrum and has genuine difficulty relating to other people. Now, I'm not ignoring the reports that Musk can be a hard guy to work for and so on. But what I'm focusing on today is his personal productivity, not his corporate behavior. The article notes that according to Musk, the secret of his long and extremely productive work week is that he has fun while doing it. He doesn't take himself all that seriously, and in fact, he enjoys tugging the chain of other people. For example, his tunneling company, the Boring Company, regarded as a pioneer in Hyperloop technology, in 2018 sold as a PR stunt to the first 2,000 people who asked to buy one flamethrowers. This was inspired by an idea from the Mel Brooks film Spaceballs. But now, technically, these weren't flamethrowers as defined by the law because they ran on propane rather than, or butane rather than on a flammable liquid like a jellied gasoline. But these rifle-like things still shot out a flame some 5 feet in front of them. I mean, and who does that? Who sells flamethrowers to the general public? And why would someone do that? And the answer was it was a goofy idea that occurred to Mr. Musk, and he decided it would be fun to upset a lot of straight-laced people, and so he did it, tugging their chains, doing something unexpected to make it clear that he wasn't a predictable guy. While he was at it, he decided to name his youngest child a completely unpronounceable name with X as the first name, which I guess would be pronounced as a Z. Why? So he could avoid being conventional. Now, the young man's opinion of his name has not yet been reported, and I'm not sure how I would respond to learning that my name was chosen to spoof other people. Probably not well. But that again is a separate issue. He chose the name of his son to pull the chain of other people, to get them a little bit off balance. The point is that Musk is hyper-productive because he makes his work life fun. He goofs on people, mostly in a good-natured way, to keep them off balance, and that means his work isn't a burden for him. He's chuckling while he's doing it, thinking about obscure things he can do that will be sufficiently outrageous to attract attention. Nothing will ever stop a person from doing something that is fun. Now, neurologists tell us that time spent having fun does not deplete our mental state or emotional reserves in the way that stress does. Hard work at something you don't enjoy for 12 hours will be exhausting. Do something fun for 12 hours and you may be tired, but you will not be depleted in the same way. So there you have it. The secret to maximum productivity: have fun while doing stuff. The problem, of course, is that most people do not have the sort of control over their working condition that would let them do that. Now, I've seen companies try to cash in on this by organizing mandatory fun events for employees, taking all the executives on a Native American survival course, for example, or paintball course or whatever. These sorts of things actually make me cringe, and I really know of no evidence that they work. I strongly suspect that the kind of fun that leads to a happy and productive life can't be imposed on one from the outside. It has to come from within. Now, of course, there are things employers and we can all do to enrich the experience of other people. I recall at one of the restaurants I worked at, a chef called us all over to show that he had worked out a unique way to fillet a fish. He even called the dishwashers over and had each of us, including the dishwashers, try this method with a spare fish. It was engaging and fun. I still use that technique in my own kitchen to this day. But the fun was learning something new, even though we may not have needed to know how to do it to do our job. He was enriching the work experience, and enrichment definitely works to improve job satisfaction. But fun? That's got to come from inside. Sigmund Freud, the great psychoanalyst, in his work around the 1920s, described something he called the pleasure principle. That is, that human beings are born with a desire to seek pleasure and avoid pain. Ancient documents such as the Epic of Gilgamesh or the Book of Ecclesiastes in the Old Testament advise us to enjoy our lives. But the mindless pursuit of pleasure at any cost brings disaster. Think of a drug addict. Eating an ice cream sundae is fun, but you're going to have trouble if that's all you eat. There have to be limits on fun or it becomes destructive to happiness, and here is where I find the key. It's good to have fun in the service of your happiness, implying that you limit your fun to things that are reasonable. The key to productivity is really finding happiness in what you're doing. And I think that's why someone like Elon Musk goofs on people with his unpronounceable names and his flamethrowers. He's doing it because it makes him smile, it makes him happy to keep others off base, and that's okay. So what is your degree of happiness in your life? Because that is the question that's pivotal for where you can make changes to do productive self-improvement. If your work makes you happy, mine does, that's great. If not, does your work enable you to do things that make you happy? Anything from playing golf to reading novels. If so, you do the work as an indirect way of making yourself happy. Now, I've had lots of clients over the years who've complained to me about their work, and I've shared this insight. It's one way to deal with something difficult, which is to keep in mind that it also enables us to do something we do like. And that's allowed a reframe. I do this rotten job because that lets me do A, B, and C, which make me happy. And that compensates. And it's not just work either. Does a less than perfect relationship enable you to enjoy a happy home life? If so, then maybe don't focus on the less than perfect relationship and its deficits quite so much. Focus on the happy home life. Does your job fund things you do enjoy? A home, recreation, hobbies? If so, then maybe the job isn't so bad. Most things have an upside and a downside, and you're going to be a lot happier if you keep your focus on the upside. And you can do that while acknowledging the downside. It's all a matter of where you allow your attention to rest. Let it rest on what makes you happy, because then you will find some fun in it and you will be much more productive, far more productive than if you let your attention rest on what doesn't make you happy. Hey, thank you for your time and attention today. I'll be back next week with another talk on a different subject, and I'd like to invite you to join me. It does help me if you let others know about my videos, so please like, share, and subscribe. And if I can help you personally, feel free to reach out through YouTube, email, or my Patreon channel. Stay well and stay safe.